Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to the first ever interview episode of Maximize Dreams Podcast TV. I'm your host, Hussein Mahmoud, welcoming you to this very historic day. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Just wanted to let you guys know we're working hard every single day to help you maximize your dreams by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it'll not be correct if I don't start with praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, owner, and sustainer. And may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the most esteemed leader and most honorable teacher, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his companions, and those who follow me until the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. Just to let you know, as I mentioned, we're doing these interviews with amazing individuals, basically ordinary people doing extraordinary things. In the outside, they might look like they're doing ordinary things and they're ordinary people, but realistically, they're doing extraordinary things. And that's the individuals that I wanted to interview. And in today's episode, I have an amazing young man, mashallah. His name is Ismail Sharif. Many of you might know him. If you don't, I got a special idea for you, inshallah, towards the end. But in any case, you know, this is, mashallah, an individual that I've admired from a distance, and he's here with us today. You know, he is an individual who has a hunger and a passion to achieve and maximize his dreams for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what I mean? He graduated from the University of Utah with his bachelor's degree, I believe, in psychology. From there on, and this is while he was working full-time and also, you know, helping his family run a restaurant business. On top of that, started a trucking business on its own just from ideas and inspirations. From there, he partnered up with a travel agency. You know, you name it, he's done majority of it, mashallah. You know, and such an amazing individual. I'm really excited to have him on. I was talking to him a little bit earlier today, and the topic that we're going to be discussing today is how to juggle multiple responsibilities successfully. Without further ado, this is my amazing guest, Ismail Sharif. Jazakumullahu khair for being here, bro.
Assalamu alaikum. How's everyone doing? Alright, let's roll.
Alright, let's go. Alright, we're
kind of nervous, but it's okay.
I like that. I'm over here tripping. This is my first interview. This is his first interview. You know, it's history in the making. As I was sharing with my friend Ismail, mashallah, I was telling him I want this podcast to be #1 Islamic personal and professional development channel, podcast TV in the world. Long stretch, but you got to have a big dream. So, Jazakallah khair for taking the time to be here, man. It's amazing to have you on, wallah.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Jazakallah. This is really amazing. So, you know, just kind of introduce yourself. What have you been up to lately, and what's been going on in your life?
Well, alhamdulillah, for those of you that don't know me, like Hussein mentioned, my name is Ismail Sharif. Recently graduated, currently work for a pharmaceutical company. And yeah, alhamdulillah, just been hustling, trying to be here and there. So,
mashallah. That's good. Juggling multiple things, multiple responsibilities.
Absolutely, yes. Like Hussein mentioned earlier, so I work full-time, like I mentioned, at a pharmaceutical plant. I also have travel partners with the travel agency that I'm a part of. And I've also helped a family business, a restaurant, as well as a grocery store.
Yeah.
And I've also started my trucking business about a year and a half ago, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And yeah, so those are some of the things I'm juggling.
That's what you've been up to these past couple of
Yes.
recently. Alhamdulillah, that's good, mashallah. And it speaks directly to the topic that we're talking about today. It's basically to, juggle multiple responsibilities successfully.
Right.
And when I say that, what does that mean to you?
That's managing different things, life, businesses, friendship, just doing different things. And that's what that means to me, juggling different things.
Alhamdulillah. So multiple things that you're involved with. So here's a couple of questions that I have for you, because I observe you from a distance and I see majority of the things that you're involved in. What I want to know is, like, basically, what are you trying to achieve? What is your vision in managing all these things, like juggling all these responsibilities successfully?
What am I trying to achieve?
What is your vision, in other words, or your dreams?
My dreams is to be successful. What I'm trying to achieve is to, again, also be successful, and eventually get to a point in my life where I don't need to be juggling all these other things, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm successful, like I mentioned. So yeah, that's what that would be for me.
Alhamdulillah. That's a good thing. The reason why I'm laughing is because before we started talking, you mentioned you wanted freedom.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
I want you to elaborate on that. Why was the freedom an important aspect of you trying to juggle so many things?
Yeah, so definitely I want freedom, and it's important to me because not having to do like all these different things, working full time, managing a business, helping with the restaurant business, travel business, all of the things that we mentioned. I want to be in a point where I'm not doing all of these things and I'm still successful, and I have that freedom and that income still coming in.
Yeah.
And I don't have to work as hard, but working smarter, not harder, right?
Absolutely, and that's very true. And getting a little serious, you mentioned, you know what I mean, you want to become successful and to have the level of freedom that you want, right?
Sure.
And that's very important to realize. And to a certain degree, majority of us are working towards that, right? But so many people are so far off.
Right.
How close do you feel? Question first is, how far do you feel like you've come to that goal?
Well, it's been a long journey. Alhamdulillah, it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
Continues to be a struggle. It's still a struggle. But ever since watching my mom struggling and getting to the point she is now, coming to America, having 2-3 jobs, and providing for us and starting all over, from a whole new country and all of that. So ever since I've seen that, I've always I felt obligated to be something and do something, and show my mom and that she doesn't have to work as hard, and that I'm able to do half of the things she's able to, so basically it's just that whole journey of watching her struggling and providing for us, and has gotten me to that point.
Absolutely, and that's amazing thing to have that inspiration from your mom, man, and see how much you look up to her, and
Definitely.
Do you feel like that's something that has pushed you to kind of work towards juggling all these responsibilities?
No doubt.
Mm.
No doubt. My mom has definitely played a big role in my life. So she's definitely put me in that stage and gave me that realization to get to the point where I wanna. Not quite there yet, but still striving to get there. So
Alhamdulillah, that's good. Just a follow-up question, like, how close do you feel to that end goal that you just mentioned of being successful and having that level of freedom that you want?
How close am I?
Yeah. Question before that, let me just jump in real quick. Out of 100%, how close do you feel you are to that goal?
I would say 70%.
70%.
70%. 60 to 70%.
So you've pushed about 60 to 70% there.
I think a fair number would be 60%.
60%. Alhamdulillah. So 60%, that's an amazing accomplishment. So what do you feel like is that other 40% that's missing?
The other 40% is, just managing these things that I have going on and scaling it to where it needs to be to get me to the point where I don't have to be there and be busy and managing all these things,
Yeah.
So getting to a point where all these things that I have going on are at the next level,
Yeah.
And once I get these projects and these things that I'm working on to the next level, then I think that will definitely get me closer to the 100%.
MashaAllah. So you're within reach, so to say.
Yeah,
compared to majority, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done for the most part.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, grateful tip, mashallah, jazakallahu khair. What I want to switch to right now is looking at all the things that you're juggling right now. What does a successful juggling, what does it look like when Ismail has successfully juggled all these responsibilities? What does that look like to you?
What does it look like to me?
Yeah.
What does it look like to me?
Like when everything is juggled and everything is all the responsibilities are done in a smooth way, like they're happening the way that they should be. What would that look like to you?
Being happy.
Okay.
My family being happy, people I'm around, my community, my peers, my friends, all of that, all the people I'm around basically, as well as myself and my family being happy.
MashaAllah.
That's what that would look like it paid off.
And everything else kind of working the way that it should.
Right.
MashaAllah. So just having that level of happiness and also having everything kind of coherently work together.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. So that's a really good vision that we could work off of. Anything else you would like to add on to that area? In terms of the goal and the result of juggling multiple responsibilities successfully?
The goal of it?
Yeah.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Okay, so the vision, right? What does that vision look like? Do you have anything else to add on to that vision? I'm just tripping because whenever you move you move the jaw, it throws me off a little bit.
No, I'm just thinking. The vision, honestly, it's like I said. Getting to a point where I don't need to be doing all these things, and having that freedom, and my family being happy, myself, and still having that freedom and having that income still coming in. Basically, not working so hard, not working hard, and still living life and enjoying life and being happy and being part of all these other things, and
yeah,
rather than feel like I have to be in this like the rat race,
Yeah,
so
being stuck in that.
Yeah, being stuck in it. So so ultimately that's what it would look like for me.
MashaAllah. So now let's get into the reason why. When you're looking at obviously you're juggling a little bit more than the average person. So why do you feel like it's important for you to juggle so many things, to live the quality of life that you want to live?
For me, honestly, it goes back to my mom, because my mom, just watching her go through all these things and struggling and being basically raising us alone,
Yeah.
and 4 kids alone, and so ultimately to me it's just making her happy, and so it goes back to my mom. So that's what drives me. That's what
strong drive.
Yeah, that's a strong
MashaAllah.
drive.
That's definitely admirable. And why is that? Why do you think that is? And I know you mentioned you know, she raised you guys alone and took care of a lot of things. She juggled multiple responsibilities herself.
Right.
Why is your mother such an inspiration to you to juggle so many responsibilities successfully?
Like I said, just watching her growing up and seeing her struggle, you know, has always just, you know, being when I was younger, I felt helpless, but now growing up, you know, having education and being in America and, you know, doing all these things, I'm able to, you know, help out and let some things like make it easy for her. At least try, right?
Absolutely.
So I mean, I have more opportunities to do so now than before. So kind of just taking some of those things off of her plate and trying to help there. So
that's amazing. I'm just taking it in because you know, sometimes when we share our stories, you never know what resonates. You know what I mean? You never know what hits home. And for our viewers watching, you know, for me, I feel like there's a lot more things that I could do personally to help out my family, you know, in different ways. So just by hearing that, like I look at, you know, my own family and seeing, you know, the struggles that we've gone through, right, and the goals that we're trying to achieve. So for you to speak highly of your mother, I definitely could relate to that because I admire my mother as well.
Absolutely.
Definitely, you know, our mothers are amazing inspirations for us.
Definitely.
So Jazakallah khair for sharing that, man. Any other reasons you can think about besides your mother that you're pushing the struggle to, you know, juggle multiple responsibilities successfully? Besides the stuff that I know?
That's mainly, I mean, that's the main, that's the core, you know. It's my mom, but obviously for myself, you know, being successful and wanting to be successful. Now, I'm not saying I'm successful at all, but, you know, going towards that path and constantly, you know, trying to make myself better and just individually also, you know, not just my mom, but fulfillment for myself as well. So, and, you know, my siblings, my nieces, my nephews, you know, looking up to me and being that role model.
Yeah.
So,
whether we like it or not, right?
Right, absolutely.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Being a role model. So that's, you feel a sense of responsibility to lead the way, sort of say.
Absolutely.
And what does that mean for you?
Leading the way?
Yeah.
Just showing them, like, you know, giving them the opportunities that either we didn't have or had. Yeah. And let them, you know, take it on and do other things, better things, and
expand their possibilities.
Right.
That's amazing.
See what they do with it.
MashaAllah. That's good. So, you know, we talked about the result, the goal that we're after, which is juggling multiple responsibilities successfully, as we all do, to whatever degree we can. And then we talked about the reason why, the driving forces that we have. So now we're going to get into the process, basically the how. So what I want you to start off with is, inshallah, just explain to me and our viewers, like, how do you go about planning and preparing, you know, and successfully juggling these multiple responsibilities? And just kind of a step-by-step type of thing. And there's no specific order unless you have it.
The how for me is, well, obviously work, it's an everyday thing. I mean, work as my actual work.
Job, 9 to 5.
My 9 to 5.
Okay.
So that's an everyday thing for me.
Every day, like you work 7 days?
No, sorry, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
So Monday through Friday, my days consist of my actual job. Before my job, I open the travel agency. So before all of that, I start my day at the travel agency.
Okay.
And then I'm there throughout until midday, and then just before noonish, try to get ready for work. Before I get ready for work, I'll check in at the restaurant, have a meal, you know.
The boss meal?
Yes, sir. Have a meal, and then get ready for work.
Yeah.
Get ready for work, and then that's the weekdays, and then the weekends, my time mainly consists of being at the restaurant Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
So Saturday and Sunday being at the restaurant means just doing whatever that needs to be done, running errands, you know, doing anything and everything, grocery shopping, or just everything that needs to be done. Anything that needs to be done, because I typically do. I plan for those during the weekends. So yeah, and then for the trucking, that's usually just finding loads and getting the truck moving. So, so I do that in the mornings, typically in the mornings. But now that my truck is down, I haven't been doing so much for that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good. So, what do you feel like contributed to? So the first thing I realized is scheduling. That's important, right? What other things do you do to juggle all these things better? Like what helped you in the past?
Planning.
How so?
Planning. Let's say, for example, restaurant. Something happens at the restaurant that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Like documentation, or not documentation, but like filings or something that needs to be filed or done, right?
Yeah.
So I'll plan for that throughout the week and see when I can schedule that in to get that completed. So for me, during the weekdays, usually I try to get what I need to do early in the mornings.
Yeah.
So if something needs to be done, I try to typically do it early in the mornings. So I plan for that, I schedule it and fit it in and take action and do it.
Okay, so I'm hearing mornings a lot. So you try to get your planning and preparation done in the mornings.
Yeah. So
and then just kind of.
Yeah, and that's because I work second shift.
Okay.
So I work a swing shift. It's kind of modified, but it's also flexible. So with my work schedule, I get in at 12 and then I work 10 hours, and then I work 4 10s. So I'm off one of the days on the weekdays. So that's Monday for me. So Mondays I'm off. So typically Mondays is when I can get a lot of things done.
Yeah.
So I just plan for that and schedule it and do them.
MashaAllah. That's amazing. So what other tips do you have for us in terms of do you deal with like any emergencies here and there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a normal thing, especially with the restaurant. All the other things I think are pretty standard.
Yeah.
But as far with the restaurant is I can be getting a call now and hey, this is going on, this is needed, this is that, and you just go
with the flow.
Yeah.
MashaAllah, that's amazing.
So definitely a lot of emergencies and quick things that need to be done.
Do you plan for that ahead of time, or is that just something that?
No, for the restaurant, no, not really, because obviously for the urgent things, there's no way you can plan for that, right?
Yeah.
You can just try to get it and
kind of go with the flow.
You just get that call from Hoyer and you have to go and do it.
Especially when you say from Hoyer, there's no argument there, mashallah.
It needs to be done.
When it's one of the siblings, you can kind of put him in check.
Right.
But when it's not, then sami'na wa ata'na, right? Alhamdulillah. So, it's just amazing to hear from you, how you juggled so many things, and what's been the most difficult part in that journey? Like, what do you feel like has been the biggest challenge in managing so many things?
Wallahi, bro, it's definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
They're all a struggle, actually. The biggest struggle, the biggest struggle for me.
Yeah, I know this is kind of like an unexpected question.
Yeah.
But I know it's a good question that you can kind of think about.
The biggest struggle for me is managing it all successfully. Trying to get them to the level that they need to be at.
Like progressing it, like developing it to the point.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's kind of been the hardest part.
Yeah.
Okay, how so?
Just with everything, because different things require different things, right?
Yeah.
So with the restaurant, the difficultest part is, just restaurant's probably the hardest one because it's just.
I mean, the nature of the business, right?
Yeah,
That's just the way it goes.
Right, and it's just, so. So I would definitely say the restaurant is the biggest struggle.
In trying to push to that to where you wanted to be.
Right.
Okay. So, what lessons have you learned from that? Like, what are obviously we all juggle, right? But you specifically, what have you learned from having the privilege of being able to juggle multiple things? Like, what are the lessons that you've learned from that? Like, what are the most important lessons?
There's some things that are in your control.
Okay.
And some things that are out of your control.
Absolutely.
So, trying to fight those things that are out of your control is impossible. Like you just have to let it be.
Yeah.
There's things that you can control and take action on and help and do whatever you need to do that and help with that. But there's things that are out of your control that you have no say or can't do anything to it. So you just let it be.
Kind of control what you can control.
Right, control what you can control. Absolutely.
Anything else? Any other lessons that you've learned from that process?
Being patient.
Okay.
Being patient is
the wusa.
Being patient is definitely one of those top ones. Just because of the different personalities and you're dealing with a lot of different people. Like again at the restaurant, you can be having a bad day or be having a good day, and someone just comes to you and is starving and just gives you crap, and then
throws a fit, and they're not even 2 years old.
Right, exactly. So definitely being patient, dealing with people, and their different personalities, and not letting that change who you are or what you stand for or things like that. So
I mean, that's a very important lesson for me because I was thinking about like things that throw me off in my day, and it's always people, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's always people for some reason.
Nope.
I mean, unless you look yourself in the mirror, but at the end of the day, I think that's a good lesson for me to take away. It's like figure out how to kind of manage different people and don't be reactive, be proactive, right?
Exactly. And just be yourself,
Yeah.
And you don't have to change for nobody. Just do you, do it at the best, and the rest is
let it all unfold.
You can't control that.
Mashallah. So just be you throughout this whole process. Don't try to pretend to be someone you're not.
Yeah,
that's another important lesson.
100%.
Allah, that hits home for me hard, man.
100%.
Mashallah. All right, so I think that's very, very valuable information, and honestly, we kind of went through our intro before coming into this interview, but I think that's a lot to learn, and obviously we're not going to talk about every single thing that there is out there too, but we can only relate to what we know, and helping ourselves and our audience juggle multiple responsibilities successfully.
Right.
If you can change one thing in helping you achieve the goal that you want of the success and freedom and juggling multiple responsibilities, what would it be?
If I could change one thing?
Yeah.
Change it, like, what do you mean? Change it
to make it better.
Change it to make it better. What would it be?
To help you get closer to achieving your goals and dreams faster. Like, what would be the one thing you would change from that journey that you had so far? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just thinking what it would be to change. What would I change?
That's a curveball,
Yeah.
Like, what would you improve in that journey?
There's a lot to improve. Tons.
What would you say? Like, what would be? Give me some.
First of all, I try to improve myself. Try to be a better person, better individual, better, when I'm dealing with people, or when, again, going back to people changing.
That kind of lets me know you probably flipped out on a person or two.
Yeah, exactly. So at times,
Yeah.
You know, people do
It
change your
happens.
moods and
Yeah.
like, you know, just so controlling that, working on yourself and just trying to be better, every day and see what you can do differently. You know.
Mm.
So those have been the struggles.
And the ways that you could improve it.
Right.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Any other final words before we kind of wrap this up, inshallah?
That's it. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So, you know, that's really what maximizing your dreams is really about, right? Becoming a better person first. And then after that, you're able to achieve the other things that you want to achieve. So, alhamdulillah, I appreciate you sharing, you know what I mean, so many things with us. And I know for sure that whoever's listening, the one or two, right, for now, hopefully millions later on, but Allahu Alam where this will go. But I feel like there's a lot to take away from this. Real conversation, real life stuff, real life juggling of responsibilities for the success. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants you even more success in this life and in the hereafter. And I would like to take the moment to acknowledge you, Ismail. And you know, this is not just lip service. It really comes from the heart. You know, from the days that we went to school together, you know, struggled through student organizations together. Pain management. I was coming there. Give me a second. Pain management and all the other interactions we had in between up until now. Like, I feel like you've been one of the realest people to me, honestly. Allah.
Appreciate that.
And you know, I call you anytime I want, talk to you anytime I want. You're always there to answer my call and listen to me, and I truly appreciate that. And I know sometimes it's a little difficult, but you know, for whatever it is, you know, that really means a lot to me. And I admire your hunger, your passion, and the fact that you're not wasting time doing other garbage stuff that a lot of people are engaged in. And you're struggling and hustling and working hard to maximize your dreams, not only to please your queen, your mother, but to also please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's something amazing, Allah.
Jazakallah, I appreciate you, man.
MashaAllah.
Appreciate it.
Jazakallah. So we're going to move on to the next segment, which is basically your 3 nasihas. If you, Ismail, achieved all the goals that you wanted to achieve and achieved all the dreams that you wanted to achieve, you know, you've pleased your mother, your siblings, and you became an example for your siblings, and you know, you pleased Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's the ultimate aim. And you did all that, and you had 1 minute to leave 3 nasiha for your loved one, your mother, and your siblings. 3 nasiha, 3 advices, 3 truths that they could live by for the rest of their lives to achieve their goals and dreams for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What would your 3 be?
First one would be just, you know, doing your very best, and you know, and doing your very best, and just forgetting the rest. Like don't let people, don't let people like throw you down, and you know, don't listen to people. Like, do you, do 100% you, and forget the rest.
Yeah.
That would definitely be my first one. And then my second one would be to be happy with what you have, and you know, just being content with all that you have. And you know, there's people out there that are dying for the opportunities that we have, or the things that we have, you know. So just being happy with what you have and realizing what you have, and going back to the first one, and you know, do your very best with what you have and be happy with it. The third one for me would be going, you know, just working towards the ultimate goal. Working towards the ultimate goal. So for me,
which is
is Jannah, right?
okay.
It should be for every Muslim.
Absolutely.
Right. So working towards Jannah and using the first step, the first advice, which was going all out, right? So going all out towards that, be happy towards that, doing what you like towards, the ultimate goal, which is getting to Jannah.
Focus on it and like push everything towards that.
Yeah, absolutely.
MashaAllah. That's amazing. 3 advices, man. And obviously giving the full effort is important.
Yeah.
Being happy through the process is important. And without Jannah, who's successful?
No one.
So that's very amazing. 3 nasihas, mashallah. And before we get into the final question, I want people to know how they can get a hold of you. Where could they come to get a taste of the food, the travel agency, or any other opportunities that you have for us?
So for me personally, it would be contacting me directly, my phone number.
Don't give the number out right now because I don't want too many girls calling you.
My Facebook page.
Which is?
My Facebook page is Sharif.
Okay.
So
any website?
I don't have a personal
website right now. Address, location.
You just find me if you try to get a hold of me, just find me on Facebook or contact me directly. As far as the businesses, the restaurant business is Noor Restaurant, located on 1151 South Redwood Road, Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right.
Suite 108. It's Noor Restaurant.
Really good food, by the way. I've been there with a couple of friends and family, mashallah. So you should definitely check it out. Some really tasty Somalian food.
Yeah. So if you haven't been there, come check us out, like Hussein just said.
Absolutely.
For that, we have a Facebook page. You can find us on there. It's also called Noor Restaurant. We also have Yelp. A lot of our customers are from Yelp, so they give us reviews and find us on Yelp. So
yeah.
You can check.
And we'll try to have the links on these information below, inshallah.
Yeah.
So you guys could just simply click on it, inshallah.
Yep. So that's the restaurant business. Trucking business is just personal. I mean,
Unless when you'll be hiring someday, inshallah.
Inshallah. And then for the travel agency is called Ihsan Travel Services. That's also across from the restaurants on the same complex. It's also the same address, 1151 South Redwood Road, Salt Lake City, Utah, 84104. 84104, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So yeah, I'm doing a lot of things. So check us out there, inshallah.
Inshallah. So you know what I mean. Support the businesses, support the movement, support the multiple juggling of responsibilities, inshallah. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to present that to our audience. It really means a lot. Jazakallah.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Jazakallah. Last question. Okay. Obviously, the brand of the training, the personal and professional development company is Maximize Dreams. So what does Maximize Dreams mean to you, Ismail?
Maximize Dream. Maximize Dreams means, just going all out for your dreams, going 110% after it, never giving up and just ultimately going straight to that and, never giving up.
Absolutely.
That's what that means to me, Maximize Dream.
Maximize your dreams. Don't give up. Keep going on it like a knucklehead.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let anyone stop you. Don't let people discourage you. Just keep going. Even until you die, keep going, chasing your dreams.
Absolutely.
So to me, that would definitely be what Maximize Dream means to me.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair, Ismail. It's definitely been a pleasure, man, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come here.
I appreciate
and
it.
working with me.
Thank you for having me.
Inshallah. Alhamdulillah. First interview, we had some awkward laughs on my part. And I wasn't laughing because of what he was saying. It's just that we kind of been through a process to make this first interview happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And trying to make it the best that we can. So excuse me for my unprofessional laughs. I'll try to definitely improve. And if I don't, hey, that's me. Accept me or leave it as it is, right?
Right.
So, alhamdulillah. So, I want to talk to the viewers for the call to action. You just listened to so many valuable information from my brother Ismail Sharif, mashallah, on how to juggle multiple responsibilities successfully, or at least to the best of your abilities. And we have a call to action to you. You listen to all these things, you have to do something about it. You just can't listen and just leave and do nothing about it. We want you to comment on the link below with a call to action from our brother Ismail.
So, call to action for me, I'd like to know the viewers, what are the things you guys are juggling or dealing with, Is it 1, is it 2, is it 3? Share with us, and share with us, like, comment, like Hussein mentioned. Inshallah. Share what you guys have going on with your guys' lives, and all those things.
MashaAllah. Jazakallahu khair. So, as our brother Ismail mentioned, comment on the link on the comment section below on the things that you're dealing with, the responsibilities that you're juggling successfully or working to juggle successfully. And we want to have this engaged community so we can kind of go back and forth and even learn more about it from our viewers as well as us, inshallah. And our brother Ismail hopefully will be in the comments below while he's juggling his multiple responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So, Jazakallahu khair. And would like to conclude by saying Jazakumullahu khair for tuning in to this first episode of Maximize Dreams PodcastTv, where we help you maximize your dreams by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, if you've liked this video, please press the like button and share it with your family and friends so they could benefit to learn how to juggle multiple responsibilities successfully. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel or any of the outlets that you find us in, inshallah. And make sure that you spread the word to your family and friends by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so they can benefit from these amazing lessons that we're learning. The other thing is you can go to HusseinMuhammad.com, and as of right now, this is a brand new site that we want to develop to an amazing use and value to not only us and everybody else to build our dreams and maximize them. So inshallah, go to that website. Just check out the few blog posts that I have there right now, and inshallah, hopefully in the future it'll develop to where it needs to be. So check us out there as well, inshallah. And the last message that I have for you is, no matter how hard it gets or how hard it is, keep going for your dreams for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep maximizing your dreams for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by the grace, will, and for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And keep going for your dreams, inshallah, as me and my brother Ismail are working towards that. And hopefully we'll have some more episodes of other individuals who are perceived to be ordinary but are doing extraordinary things. I'll leave the final remarks to my brother Ismail because I'm feeling a little winded right now.
Well, mashallah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. I was kind of nervous, so inshallah, I hope you guys enjoyed and are definitely going to share. I'd like to know, see what other people's projects are and what they're working on, and inshallah, motivate somebody else or motivate ourselves, So inshallah, I look forward to you guys' response and liking the page and making it go viral.
The 1 or 2 people that are going to make this go viral, inshallah. Jazakallahu khair. Really appreciate. Jazakumullahu khair for everyone who's watching. And we'll catch you on our next episode of Maximized Dreams PodcastTv. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.